Hello and welcome back to this playthrough for Khare, City Port of Traps. We are now on part 8. In our previous video we defeated Van Gorn the Murderer and we met Flanker again. But we're now through with Lower Khare and it's time for us to cross the bridge and see if we can find any more nobles and their spell lines. First things first, let's go and buy some breakfast. We go to the stalls and we find some bomber bread for 2 gold pieces. Select buy some and then select wait. Select keep waiting. Select keep waiting again. And then finally the bridgeman comes out and he begins moving the lever, but he seems to be having a bit of bother. Select help him out. And as you get to your feet and go over to help him, he says, "Get off, you'll break it." Select don't help him. Eventually he manages to get the bridge down, so now it's time for us to cross. Select continue. You salute the man cheerfully, and you go to the flag, cross bridge. Select continue. Go to the flag the other side. And we are now in Upper Khare. Select start moving and continue. And go to the flag, a fork in the road. As we continue down the road, we come across a spring that's bubbling with fresh water. Select drink from the fountain. And that should restore some more stamina if your stamina wasn't full already. It's now time for us to get moving. Select move on, continue, and go to the flag, turn right. We're going to come across an elven woman who is just leaving a building and looks quite worn out already. You can talk to her, but there's not much to gain, and if anything she tries to trick you. I'd recommend to ignore her, continue, and go to the flag towards the square. As you carry on down the street, you're going to come across a lanky man sitting on a step with his eyes firmly closed. This must be one of the red eyes you heard about earlier. It's best to leave him be. Select ignore him, continue, and go to the flag 5U square. You're now in the central plaza of Upper Khare, and you can see different creatures moving back and forth, and a giant archway in the middle. Select look at the creatures. None of them seem to be looking where they're going, and all of them have their eyes closed, and you know the reason why. If they open their eyes, fireballs will come out of them, so it's best to leave them all alone. Next, select look through the arch. Through the archway you can see more creatures moving back and forth between stalls, a market district perhaps, and nearby a peddler with a tray around his neck walks past you in the square. Anklewort, blimberry, millweed. Select talk to the herbalist. Continue, and go to the flag herbalist. The herbalist greets you saying, "Good day. Select what are you selling?" He'll explain that he's selling an ointment called Mustic, but don't buy it because it's actually a trick. Select I don't want it. And then select what else do you have. This time it will offer you a blimberry. Select how much, and select buy it. Select stash it, and this time select visit the fruit vendor. Click continue, and go to the flag the fruit seller. You walk over to the fruit seller. "Morning," he declares. "I'd like to say it's a beautiful day, but it isn't. Would you like to buy something?" Select "Look at the bomber." He tells you that they're 4 gold pieces. Select "Buy the bomber." And he remarks to you, "I had a friend once who ate 5 of these every day, never got ill, but then never got off the privy either." Select "Talk to the vendor." Tell him that you need to find a blind beggar. He responds with, "Lots of beggars round here, they don't buy anything." Select "I need a particular one." He'll inform you of the nearby ruins of the Free Trade Quarter, and he points to an alleyway leading left off the main square. You make a mental note and decide to ask him one more question. Select "I need to find an undead creature." "Try the city graveyard," he replies. "No one goes there, it's definitely haunted. Follow the main road past the statue and through the market." Again you make another mental note. Select "Nothing else." Select "Leave the stall" and continue. Go to the flag back to the square. And select "Approach the monument." You make your way through the crowd and accidentally bump into one of the creatures. "Here," he says, "be careful." Select "Apologize." The creature huffs and moves away, and you climb the steps of the monument and finally get to see inside. But the monument is empty. There is just a circular rug inside that fills the whole floor space. You remember what Flanker said about the portal traps, and decide that it's not worth going inside. Select "Step away," and select "Leave the square." Select "Continue," and go to the flag, the alley. Specifically, go to the highest one that's the most north. You make your way up the alley, only to find that the road is blocked by a colossal slimy mass that's pouring out from a large warehouse nearby. Select "Investigate it." You approach boldly, and as you get closer you start to see that the green slimy mass is very gently inflating and deflating. It is breathing and very, very big. You back away once more. There is no way past this thing, whatever it is. Select "Continue," and go to the flag, take a side alley. You make your way between the buildings until you emerge into a wider street once more. To your left, a line of buildings has been constructed out of the side of a natural cliff face, and above them is a thick area of trees. On the right is a walled area that you found on your way around here. Select "Look at the high wall." The wall is so tall that you have to crane your neck to look at the very top, and the surface of the wall is rough and pockmarked with age. At the very top, something gleams. Select the option "Cast a spell." And the spell we're going to cast is Big. Select B, I, G, and cast. You are now 3 times your normal size, and you're about as high as the wall itself. Select "Look at the gleam." At first, it appears to be nothing more than a small yellow jewel, not gold and probably not valuable. But we're going to select "Pick up the jewel" anyway. And we find out that it's actually a sun jewel, an extremely lucky find because this item allows us to cast the Zen spell. Select "Cast a spell" again. And this time we're going to cast the spell Fall. So select the small F A, L, and cast. Select climb the wall, and select drop down in the yard. Continue, and go to the flag inside the yard. You are now in some kind of prison yard. You don't know what possessed you to come in here, but you feel like you can do some good. Select go down the steps. You're now making your way underground to a long, dank corridor lined with cells, and the closest cell, number 6, is just by the steps but has a guard posted directly outside. Select cast spell. And the spell we're going to cast is Nif. Select N, I, F, and cast. You plug your nose plugs in, but the guard cannot cope. He rushes down the corridor up to fresh air, gulping madly and leaving the door unattended. Select look into the cell. You can see an elven curled up in one corner of the cell. Select unlock the door with a copper key. You pull out the copper key given to you by the beggar from Cristatanti and turn it in the lock. The cell door opens. From inside the cell, an elven emerges. He almost knocks you down as he barrels out of the cell. This way, he says, pointing to a different corridor you hadn't noticed. It's a supply entrance. You race up a set of stairs heading towards a patch of sunlight and emerge in an alleyway near the side of the prison wall, the elven at your back. Select continue and go to the flag outside the jail. You emerge into a quiet side street and begin to weave and duck through the alleyways. The elven, weak from his long stay in the tiny cell, can barely keep pace with you, but is filled with such joy to be free that he laughs even as he trips and stumbles. Select turn right. Do you know where we're going? Asks the elven, but there isn't time to reply. Select turn right again. At the next junction you go right. The elven is flagging, and he cannot keep running like this anymore. Go on, he gasps from several strides behind. I'll hide. Select leave him. It breaks your heart to leave him, but you know he is right. You wish him luck, and then hurry away. The elven crawls into a pile of junk and beds down. Perhaps you'll see him again. Select turn right one last time. Quite suddenly, you emerge out from the alleyway into a wider, busier street. You slow yourself down to a nonchalant walk. Select continue and go to the flag, a street. And that's going to do us for part 8. I'll see you all in the next video.